It's Sharon here from SJB Wellbeing. I thought I would come on and do a live and show you how to cut your own fringe while you're not messing it up. So when you do go back to your salon or your hairdresser, one, you're not having to grow out little pieces that you've just randomly cut, and two, you're not feeling like it's made a mess of it, you know. Hi Anne, how are you? So I've just been doing a Facebook Live in a private group where I've just been doing a tutorial on how to blow dry your hair straight. So as you can see, I was the model. So yeah. So if you'd like to be added into that, it's not too late. And then I'll probably do one for shorter hair for my website. So at the moment it's £10, and when it goes into my website shop, then it'll be the normal price. So without further ado, so the best thing to do, and I'm going to probably spoil my hair a little bit, but never mind, when you're doing your fringe, it's actually keeping it neat. So the line that you have for your fringe, it's keeping that also neat. Otherwise it just gets all over the place, and possibly then you'll have to start growing some out. So depending on how, so I'm just going to bring mine into the middle, because I don't have one. I'm not looking to have a fringe in my hair, but I can show you how to do it yourself. I'm going to cut mine longer. So depending on how thick you want your fringe, if you are cutting it for the first time, or if you're just wanting to tidy it up. So here where you recede a little bit, you don't want to go any further down from there, otherwise that's where it goes really clumpy and it doesn't really look right, and you're taking too much from your parts that's longer. Keep everything neat. So what I'm going to do first is just take everything back. Because one thing that you don't want to do is not to have any hair clips. I know by now you might be using kitchen scissors, or it has actually been known to use toenail scissors for cutting hair. It's amazing the stories you hear, but anyhow, so make sure you're in the middle for a start, so it's equal on both sides. And depending on how thick you want your fringe, so taking it on an angle, so you see, and tuck that behind. It is important to either use your ears to keep the hair back, or to use a hair bobble or clip. I have had a client come in before and cut the whole side of a hair off through wanting to cut a side fringe, and went too far in and actually cut this part to there. So my advice is keep your sections neat, keep everything out the way, and just work with the fringe that you're looking to cut. Yeah. So again, keep out your way. Hi Julie, good to see you. So that would be my fringe, and then I would just take that tiny little bit out. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I like everything super neat. Then with the rest of the hair, now that I've pulled back, either clip it up, clip it out the way, but make sure it's out of your scissors. because I've blow dried my hair now, so it's quite smooth and silky. So that'll go like that. So you have two options when you're cutting your fringe. You have the option of having it straight across. So if you can see how that would be down, that would be the ending part. Now when you're cutting your fringe, keep it on the slightly longer side if you're cutting it from wet, just because it will, hi Brian, you're right, it will jump up a little bit, especially when you start with your blow drying. So just to be aware that, keep it on the slightly longer side. And also if you're going to be chipping into the hair, then, you know, just be mindful. So you have an option, hi Jane, you have the option of, so that'll be one section. And clip that back. So you have the option to either keep it straight across, or if you like it to look angled, then if you can imagine cutting your hair into a triangle like this. So this section here you would cut shorter, and then you would cut them down. So it's, again, when you're working in the mirror, it's making sure that your angles are correct. Because if you, hi Joanne, because if otherwise you could actually go shorter here and longer. Fine if that's what you're looking for, if you want a bit funky fringe. So just be mindful doing it in a triangle. So keep your angles like this. Yeah. Like I say, I'm not after cutting a fringe in. I'm very, so can you see? This would be one section. Keeping it out of the way. So with the next section, keeping that out the way. So you have this. I will be cutting my hair, but I'll be cutting it much longer. So keeping it flat, because anywhere you're going out, you're going to be creating lift and also softness. So, which you can actually create in anyhow once you start chipping in. So just keep it all flat. Like I say, you'll be keeping it slightly longer. So if I'm cutting it there, depending on how, if I have a cow's lick or anything, on how much it's going to jump up. So if I cut my hair there, it's probably going to be about here when I blow dry it. So just be mindful. If you have any cow's lick, for sure, definitely keep it much longer. And at the end of the day, you can always go a little bit shorter, because mainly this is part where you're going to be trimming. Hi Claire. So this would be me. So I'm going about here. Yeah. And then with this section here, this would be, so your angles are going to be now like that. So you're going into your triangle. So you can either cut downwards or you can cut upwards. Each side will be different. I'm a lefty, so and also while you have it on an angle, you'll also find it'll grow out better, so you won't have a chunky like sides. So there's there. So from that corner there, you want to kind of keep it more on that angle. So I'm just going to go slightly lower. Okay. and then this would be the top part. It's best to do it in sections rather than in one go. Just keeps everything neat. So again, if your hair is wet, it will be easier. So you'll see your line where you are, keeping it flat. Yep. And there. Again on the other side, you'll see your line underneath, and that's your guideline. Yeah. So now this is your thickness. You've got two options. You can either chip into it like that way, just keeps it softer. If your hair is quite thick on one side and not on the other, so then you can lift it up. Always keep the bottom as your guideline. Anything that you're going to be chipping into in that, the top section. So that's my angle. Just chip into it. You might, as I say, you might find one section slightly longer than the other. Sorry, slightly thicker than the other side. It also means, so just then you can just chip into those parts more, so then it looks even on both sides. Also, when it wear it to the sides, once your hair grows out, because it's on the triangle, you'll also find it'll sit better on the side, and you can also wear it longer until you got to the hairdressers. For me, as I'm wearing my hair longer, so this would pull back. I'm just going to blend it in. So for myself, I would just actually keep this all out the way. You don't want to touch any of that. And you're just blending this in. So, can you see? So I'm just freestyling. Be careful on how you do it when you're freestyling. Just follow your lines. When you're doing it round the sides, my hair's quite long. When you're doing it on the sides, keep your angles more like this. Because if you're doing it like this, you're actually going to start taking it way back into your length. So keep your angles when you're doing it on the sides down. Yeah. So hence why I'm going into a straight line. Just trimming that off. And then you can bring that side down. My hair's not super thick, so for me, I like my corner on. I don't like my corner off. So like I say, if I was to blow dry forward, that would be the fringe. Be more like that. So you have option. So when you're doing it, oh, the brush. Now you're doing it for the, keeping it to the middle of your ear. See? Keep that back. even this under your ear. Clip this back. Hi Barty, how are you? Good to see you. Hope Dubai's good, treating you well right now. So that's my angle, see? Yeah. So that's what I follow. Yeah. Like I say, you might have one side slightly thicker than the other. That's normal. For me, cutting my own hair, I do find it easier having my hair already blow dried straight, and then I can just follow the lines. Not that I teach you to blow dry or cut your own hair, but I know at these times you're probably desperately needing a fringe trim. So as you can see, that side would be slightly thicker than there, so if I wanted to, then I would just lift this up a bit more. Oh! Sorry. Hi Pavine. And then just chip into it. And then it just makes it a little bit easier. So pull it out, 90 degree, and then, you see, chip. Softens the blunt line. I think it's better to keep the line blunt underneath, and then any softening that you're doing is actually on the top. So keep it out. And then just softens it in. So you can wear it in the middle, to the side, or if it's a bit shorter, then down as a fringe. And with the angling in from that triangle shape, it'll grow out and blend in. So I hope you've enjoyed, and like I say, just keep your sections clean so that you're not cutting any parts of your hair that you may need to grow out later. And I hope it's been a contribution and useful for you. Bye for now. Take care. Bye.